The Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, Acan, the research and training arm of ICPC, was established to facilitate the effective implementation of the Commission's functions as contained in Section 6, A to F of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. Apart from ICPC's staff capacity building, the Academy also carries out various training programs aimed at inculcating integrity and accountability in political office holders and public servants from other MDAs. Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Ruth Awodi. Today on the program, we look at how well the Academy has fared in 2017. We shall also bring you a segment on anti-corruption stories, ethics and values, drama, and many more. First, Joy Aja will bring us anti-corruption stories.
They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better. Let's make Nigeria great again. ICPC, they want to. Hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
I am Joy Aja with Anti-Corruption Stories. The Federal High Court, Ikoyi, Lagos, has dismissed the suit seeking to stop ICPC and a sister anti-corruption agency from investigating the Nigeria Capital Development Fund Limited and its Director General, Honorable Babatunde Oralusi, a former member of the House of Representatives, for alleged fraud running into millions of naira. The claimants had sued ICPC and EFCC, asking the court to make declarations of alleged breaches of fundamental rights, give an injunction against arrest, and award 200 million naira damages against the agencies for unlawfully declaring Honorable Oralusi wanted after he failed to honor several invitations. Honorable Oralusi is alleged to have set up the Nigeria Capital Development Fund with offices in the Federal Secretariat, Abuja, to defraud many persons of millions of naira under the pretext that his organization would grant them low-interest agricultural and housing loans upon depositing a contributory equity of 10% of desired loan. The former House of Representatives member allegedly disappeared into thin air with a deposit that had run into millions of naira and was therefore declared wanted by ICPC. In a judgment delivered on behalf of Justice Ibrahim Buba by Honorable Justice Adiza Shagari recently, the court upheld the preliminary objection filed by counsel to ICPC and EFCC, EA Shogunle and ST Ola respectively, on the grounds that the applicants' claim did not disclose any reasonable cause of action against the respondents. In dismissing the claim for being an abuse of court process, the court found that the applicants failed to show that either of the agencies had acted outside their respective statutory mandates and that the claim was merely a ploy to avoid investigation. Each of the respondents was therefore awarded a cost of 50,000 naira by the court. One Wayo Samuel was sentenced to 8 years imprisonment for fraud by the High Court sitting in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Samuel was arraigned by ICPC before Honorable Justice Okon A. Okon of High Court 8, Uyo, on an 8-count charge of obtaining by false pretense and receiving benefits for himself with regard to employment into the public service. His ordeal started when one of his victims sent a petition to the commission alleging that the convict had collected the sum of 140,000 naira with a promise to use his position as an Air Commodore in the Nigerian Air Force to assist him get recruited into the service's Batch B Direct Short Course for June 2017. ICPC investigations, however, revealed that Samuel was neither an Air Commodore nor a personnel of the Nigerian Air Force. After listening to all the charges brought against him, Samuel pleaded guilty and was consequently sentenced to 8 years imprisonment with an option to pay a cumulative sum of 450,000 naira. The person whose picture you see on the screen, Mr. David Akile, is hereby declared wanted by ICPC in connection with issues bordering on fraud. Mr. Akile, an indigene of Benue State, is dark in complexion and was born on 15 December 1976. He is 41 years old. His last known address was Zone E, Mashafa Road, Pape, Abuja. Anyone who has useful information on his whereabouts should report to ICPC headquarters, Abuja, or any of ICPC's zonal or state offices or the nearest police station, or call ICPC toll-free lines showing on the screen. That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues. Stay with us.
You are still watching Corruption Must Go. The vision of Acan is to be a model manpower development institution that will provide the necessary connection between theory and practice in order to drive the fight against corruption and related crimes in Nigeria and beyond. The Academy is therefore positioned as a center of excellence to craft a multidisciplinary approach to the fight against corruption through training, research, documentation, advisory services, advocacy, and skills development in enforcement. In the roadmap approved by its parent body, the ICPC, Acan is structured to help Nigerians understand anti-corruption concepts through academic research, carefully designed lectures and seminars, short-term courses in integrity issues, security studies, and public service matters. Professor Shola Akinriade, the provost of the Academy, sheds more light on this.
When the board in 2014 approved the transition of the ICPC Academy to the Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, it gave us about 4 or 5 mandates. One is the training and capacity building for ICPC staff, which is primary because we have to develop the capacity of our staff. Number 2 is training for the public sector, MDAs and all that. Then we also do bespoke trainings for agencies, for organizations that request it. Of course, research is primary, it's a key element, research and dissemination of knowledge. And of course, we also owe certification programs. So, how are we be able to do that in 2017? Let me put it this way, we have about 4 or 5 areas in which our activities can be discussed. One is our internal capacity building for staff of the ICPC itself. And during the year, we worked about 4 or 5 departments. The CMED, the Corruption Monitoring and Evaluation Department, where we had training on corruption, on monitoring and evaluation. We also had a training for the Education Department. There was a workshop, there was a retreat and planning or training for staff of the Public Enlightenment Department, the PE. I'm sure all of you are there when you brought those trainers. Then we had the very successful training for asset tracing management, asset tracing recovery and management department. We had a workshop for officials from state and zone offices, and then we had our own training for ICPC academy staff. So those are for internal capacity building, those are the areas where we worked for CMED, for public enlightenment, for education, for asset tracing, and for the ICPC academy itself. The second area of activities in 2017 was working with state governments, which I thought was successful. And the essence was to tackle corruption within their systems and not leave it to, not making the anti-corruption fight as something for the federal government alone. Trying to define the work to include fighting corruption at both the state and local government levels. What are the things we did? We had State Anti-Corruption Summit, which started actually in 2016. But in 2017, we had with Abia, Bayelsa, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Cross River. And the essence is also to say, one was to build capacity internally in the states and also to sensitize them on the need for fighting corruption at the local government and state levels. Now, the theme of all the anti-corruption state summits were institutionalizing good governance for sustainable development. And we cannot institutionalize good governance without ensuring that state resources are used for what they are earmarked for. So we are trying to build their capacity to tackle corruption within their own systems. The state anti-corruption summits were followed by in-depth training for officials at different levels within the states. We had for what do you call it, commissioners, directors, permanent secretaries, political appointees, and then we also had for local government officials. So we worked with Bauchi, Yobe, Abia, and I think Ebonyi to train the staff at the various departments in the state level. So apart from the anti-corruption summits, we also did in-depth training for their staff. We had anti-corruption and fraud prevention training for commissioners of finance, accountants general, permanent secretaries finance, auditors general of the state, and other officials at the board. So we work with state governments to build capacity internally in their own states to be able to fight corruption. Don't wait for us to come and fight corruption for you. Number three, we work with MDAs during the year. And that was, again, another successful area of our activities. First area, we work with Actus. We had 2 major trainings for Actus in the year. The first is on data collection and investigative skills, and the other one was on designing, managing, and monitoring integrity systems for MDAs. We thought they should be able to gather their own data to fight corruption within their systems, and they should be able to build their own systems to be able to fight corruption. So integrity management system was critical to them. We had bespoke trainings for a number of agencies. We had for the Nigerian Institute for Mining and Geosciences in Jos. We had for the National Broadcasting Commission. We had for the National Arts Commission, which was the last one we did for last year. And then we also had training procurement for MDs and parastatals and government institutions. So those are the areas. And the final area of activities in 2017 was open programs for the academy. Of course, the successful ones were the senior executive course in organizational integrity management, which was open to both public and the private sector operators. And the last one was the Anti-Corruption Leadership Academy, which is our flagship program. So those are the areas where we worked last year. Number one is we want to transit from short-term courses, 3 days, 2 days, to longer-term, deeper training programs. And we started the process last year with the development of the curriculum for certificate course in corruption prevention with support from the UNODC. We not only had the curriculum developed, we also had the staff to do the training. We had the training done for them. We build the capacity of staff to do it. We are planning to start the first course, the first set, in March. We hope to bring in the first set of trainees in that course in March. The essence of the certificate course in corruption prevention, it speaks for itself that we need to build the capacity of operators in anti-corruption agencies, okay, themselves, to be able to fight corruption. In that regard, we also plan to complete the development of the curriculum for the certificate course in ethics and compliance. The ethical and compliance course will cut across the various sectors, public sector, private sector, to all those agencies, all those organizations that have interest in compliance matters. You know, it's a major issue in the industry. Number two, we want to restructure our Anti-Corruption Leadership Academy program. Again, this is a product of our own reflection on the impact of what we have been doing since 2015. Why? Because we engage in constant appraisal of our programs to see whether we are achieving the purpose and whether the trainees were actually making a difference in the organizations. In the course of interaction with the leadership of some of these organizations that sent people to us for training, trying to find out what was the impact of the people they sent to us on their work back home, we realized that many of the leadership of the anti-corruption agencies themselves don't even understand the work of anti-corruption. Many of them are political appointees, no big deal about that, but they also need to have knowledge and skills to be able to lead the anti-corruption work within their respective agencies. So you get appointed as a commissioner, you get appointed as a director, you get appointed to the board of. These are people that also need this knowledge. Want to, of course, which is the major one, is to develop research capacity and engage in active research this year. With support from the DFID, we're in the process of trying to engage 2 senior researchers. We are in the process of sourcing for funds to actually support actual research for the year. So we already have support for the researchers, now we need support for the research because we need money to do the research. But in the process, we want to do some research in collective action, behavioral change. And we intend to train at least 12 of our staff in research capacity. So these are part of our major goals for this year.
What do you want to buy?
Potato. Small baskets. I want plantain.
But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy. Make her show you something. What? What's in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical what they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
Hey? So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. It don't big. I just stop drink water finish. I don't
drink. Wait, can drink am now. I dey sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That one I talk and now corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
We spoke with some beneficiaries of trainings at the academy, and this is what they had to say.
The training is going to affect my work positively. The lecturers who came were very depth in their areas of specialization. And then the lectures we had, especially the practical sessions, which comprised of surveillance, simulation classes, moot court trials, and all of that were very, very interesting. They add a new dimension to the training, and we have learned a lot. We are poised to go to the field now and present what we have learned. It's quite interesting.
Well, I can say that I used to think that we lawyers do the difficult part of the job, you know, presenting evidence in court and trying to get a conviction amidst all the, you know, political and, you know, legal hurdles. But now I'm being exposed to the fact that, you know, the people who go out there to extract the evidence, to seize it, compile it, prepare it and give it to us, do as much work as we do, if not more, you know, because the challenges now I'm seeing them, you know, the technicalities in what they do too, I'm also seeing it. And secondly, the teamwork in my own case has improved, you know, bringing all of us from different parts of the country, you know, instead of seeing yourself as a Kanu office staff and headquarters staff, you know, Owerri staff, but now that we train together, you know, we work together, we do practicals together, you know, it has improved my perception, you know, of the fact that we all work towards the same goal, we work for the same employer and all.
To some of us that have been old investigators, it's just like a refreshment course. And for people that have been drawn from different departments for coming for the first time, I feel it is the basic for them, which they're supposed to know. And so far, so good. The whole class, everything has been working well, and we can see the zeal in everybody that has been drawn to this course. They've been participating very fully, very well, and we are carrying everybody along. Nobody has been left behind. And I can assure you, when we go back to the commission, you will see a dramatic change. That I can assure you.
Well, I've learned a lot. Principally, that anti-corruption begins with me. And because it begins with me, I must deploy the drive to my organization. And I'm particularly happy for the corruption risk factors. Yes, because that will go a long way to enabling us to actually carry out the integrity plan implementation. And so to me, it's a priority.
ICPC has been using a multifaceted approach in the fight against corruption. The establishment of its academy provides the academic and research facet to that fight. Targeted lectures and seminars on the various manifestations and ramifications of corruption to a broad spectrum of public servants in Nigeria is a strategy that is yielding results in many positive ways. Many workers are now familiar with best practices as stipulated in government financial guidelines and regulations. ICPC is not waiting for people to fall foul of the law only for it to apprehend them. It is trying to ensure that corrupt practices are not perpetrated in the first place. That's our package on this week's edition. You can watch the program on our YouTube channel www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. See you again next week. Bye for now.